Hey, welcome to another episode of The Modern Day Investor. I am Mark Robinson, CEO and founder of the International Academy of Wealth. Now, before I carry on, guys, make sure you like and subscribe to either our YouTube channel or podcast, depending on which way you're listening or watching. And we appreciate your support. We really want to get this out to as many people as possible. Now, like I promised in the last episode, this one is all about the biggest mistake business owners make. And if you are one of them, hey, it's not too late to change, right? We just got to put the steps in place for it. Now, I believe, without a doubt, and I remember doing this mistake myself when I first got into business, is that the biggest mistake people make or business owners make is they reinvest 100% of their profits back into their business. And this is from predominantly day one, yeah? And the reason why I know it's one of the biggest mistakes is because the stats are just there for everybody to see, right? And what I mean by that is 80% of all businesses fail within the first 2 years, right? Fail within the first 2 years. Now, that's a lot of businesses when they first get started, okay? The other, out of the last 20%, 80% of them fail in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah, so if you're in 10 years in business, right, you're doing something right, or, you don't know when to give up. Sometimes it can be a bit of both, right? So, look, one of the things I want you guys to sort of consider is to start to take out profits from day one, no matter how little it may be, so you get into that habit. One of the things that I learned when I was really starting to, get into this space, what do the wealthy do? And they always pay themselves first, right? They're number one. And that can be a couple of ways to do that, whether it's pulling out a wage or whatever the case may be. But what I'm talking about is over and above your wage. Yeah, I want to make sure that you actually pull out enough money to start investing in either at the top of the pyramid, like sort of short term, more cash flow, right? Or to start to build out the bottom of the pyramid. Yeah. So I just really want you guys to sort of make that. Geez, I don't know about you. If you're watching me on YouTube, mate, there's something wrong with my eye today. Now, the reason why I want to say this, right, is I remember many years ago, probably about 15 years ago now, we had built out multiple businesses. We had a mortgage broking business. We created a financial planning business. We had a property one, an insurance business. And then we brought on an accounting firm, right? We created an accounting firm. And we went out to our database and we said, hey, if we were to build an accounting practice, what are the top 3 things that you wanted? Yeah, and we got a lot of good responses back. But the main ones that were, right, that they wanted a fixed fee, right? They were tired of just, every phone call they got billed for 15 or 30 minutes of time at $300 an hour. So they wanted a fixed fee for the year. They wanted to have cash flow, right? So they wanted to be able to pay that off over the 12 months. And they wanted unlimited access, yeah? They were the main 3 ones. So what we did after we had that information, we actually went, hey guys, Acquire Group, we've got an Acquire accounting. Here it is. It's a fixed fee, unlimited access, pay us every month. Yeah. Now we set it up straight away, right? And this is back when, our mentors were saying, build a product, collect cash, and then actually create the product, right? And do it on the delivery. So what happened was we actually did that. Yeah. So we had about $60,000 to $80,000 sitting in our bank account before we went out and hired the accountant. So we already had the licenses and all that sort of stuff that you have to do in that space, right? Already set up, and then we went out and got the accountant. Now, unfortunately, we got the wrong one, right? He bamboozled us. He turned around and said, an accounting practice is different. It's got to be, managed differently. And look, about 2 years later, long story short, the guy was full of, what, and it cost us $1 million personally to fix his mistakes, right? It literally brought down the way that we wanted to do business moving forward, which was, a blessing, because we've got a much more flexible lifestyle now than if we had those types of traditional businesses still. So Now, what we learned though, right, if we hadn't been taking money from one business to build another business, taking money from that business to build another business, right, we would have been in a world of pain, right? We would have had to literally go into liquidation. We would have had to close down all those businesses, and we would have had to start from absolute scratch again. So by taking money out of our businesses and creating other additional income streams, right, is the best thing we did, and we did it from day one. Now, what we learned from that though is if all those income streams are actually interconnected, it can also cause a lot of pain as well. So if you are in business and you're thinking, well, I'm selling a blue widget, and if I take money out and I go sell a yellow widget and then a green one and so on and so on, but if all those widgets are pretty much connected, right, then you will still end up potentially having this domino effect. Right, we were actually fortunate enough to be able to stop and contain it, and if we didn't have all the cash flow in all our other businesses, we wouldn't have been able to help our clients that were affected by this person's mistake. So, what I want you to understand there is to start taking money out and take it out completely out of your business and start to invest it into cash flow opportunities, right? So that it's almost like that, basically, sell it once, get paid forever, right? Probably the worst saying ever that network marketing and multi-level marketing companies say, one of the biggest lessons we learned many, many years ago, probably at least 20, 25 years ago, was, from a company called Amway. Right, how to lose friends and disinterest people situation. But what I learned about that, I actually learned the phrase passive income from them, even though it is far, far from passive if you can ever get, right? But the lessons from that saying, get paid, paid once, get paid forever. The way I took that, guys, was to take money from the business that you have and then invest it into assets that could and have the potential to pay you forever. Yeah. Now, we are not believers in we're definitely not believers in passive income, right? We would rather you call it portfolio income, because it still has to be managed. You still need to make sure that whatever your portfolio is doing, you're making decisions on it on a regular basis, even if it's just to go, we're going to stay in those shares, stay in those cryptos, we're going to look to sell that property and go into this type of property, etc., etc. So every single part of it is part of you building your perfect portfolio, and it means that you don't have to rely on others or rely on your one business, right? Your one income that comes from it. It's by far the biggest mistake that we see, right? Is people start to rely on one business or one income stream. And it's dangerous. The world is definitely changing, guys. I don't want to go back to 2020, but we saw generational businesses in Australia just fold overnight, right? A couple of months and stuff, because they got the rules changed, and it changed quickly. And this is the key, that things are going to get faster and faster. Don't get me wrong, guys, in either this season or definitely in season 2, I'm going to talk about the effects of AI, artificial intelligence, and how you can, I'm going to bring experts in and show you how you can actually bring that into your business, right? Because we're bringing it into our business, probably not as fast as I'd like us to. Yeah. There you go. There's transparency, right? But definitely in 2024, we will be bringing it into our business on more of a day-to-day basis, because it's bloody important to see how you can actually benefit from this. Yeah. So, because imagine if you can take a tool like this, going down a little rabbit hole here, but imagine if you can take a tool like that, right, and increase your productivity with your current employees. It's not about replacing your employees, guys, but to me, it's more around you actually becoming, getting them to become far more productive. And a far more productive means they have the potential to become far more happier, and so on and so on, right? So I really want you guys to understand that. Now, here's the thing, right, and is, probably the biggest objection that we hear when I talk about the biggest mistake, is, oh, look, I'm struggling to make ends meet now. Every single dollar, the business needs every single dollar. Well, look, I'm going to call BS on that. We do regular checks on what we're paying guys, and we generally can find anywhere from $100 a week. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot of money, right? $100 a week, but imagine if you can take that $100 a week. At the end of the year, you got $5,000, and then that $5,000 can start to make you an income of $500 a year. $1,500 a year. Yeah, that can happen as well. Sometimes even $5,000 a year, you can turn that income into it, right? That means the following year, it's there's another $5,000 you don't have to go and find from your business. And when we go into businesses, we generally can find, like I said, $100 a week, sometimes $500 a week, and sometimes thousands of dollars a month that you're spending on nothing. And I mean literally nothing, right? We have an incredible CFO, and she's regularly looking at our subscriptions, making sure that we're making the most of everything that we do. And it's important to understand that, right? If you're a one-man band, look, we get it. You think that, at the end of the day, you've just spent, 8, 10, 12 hours. You then have to go and, work on the business. Well, you can change that. And I'm not going to be one of these people that says that, you can change that in a day or a week. No. But imagine if you can do it incrementally over time, right? You can get in there and you can just make sure that you're making those savings, increasing your profit. Right, and these are just some of the things that we can educate you on at the International Academy of Wealth. Yeah, without a doubt, a plug there for sure, right? Because we understand what we're doing. We've been in business since, self-employed since I was about 20. I did actually, I went to try and get a job 1 year when Billy fell pregnant, and I lasted 6 weeks, right? I thought, what? Hey, I'm going to be a dad. I better go get a job, after being employed for, what's that, 20, for about 8 years, right? And, it was incredible, right? The crazy bastards made me turn up, right? Every single day. I had to turn up by 8:30. I couldn't leave till 5. And I lasted 6 weeks, and that was like 4 weeks of training, right? And then 2 in the branch as a financial planner for a financial institution in Australia. And it was just like, man, what is this? And then went off and joined a mate of mine who set up a mortgage broking business on the Sunshine Coast. And then he after he had set it up, he actually left, right? And then I bought into the business, and the rest is history, as they say. So if you're turning around and you're saying that you don't have enough disposable income to invest in a coaching program like ours, look, the best thing I suggest, guys, is just book a call, right? And I'll make sure our team has a book a call link that you can get access to. Have a chat with me or one of our team, and we'll see if we can find some additional income in your business. Because actually, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a little ninja trick, right? And this has worked for us extremely well over the years. Yeah. So what I want you to do is to your landlord, right? Yeah, this is business, from a business owner, guys, but this works in any way, right? So think of, whether you've got a mortgage or you're renting, right? It could be either a business premises or even at home, yeah? So how much does the mortgage or rent have to go up before you would look to move or sell, yeah? So what I mean by that is, if your mortgage or your rent went up $100 a week, would you move or sell your property? Now, if you turned around and said no, then we've just found $100, yeah, $100 a week, because you will find it from somewhere, won't you? But the key here is to now, right, go and create what we call a wealth account, and literally from this week, move $100 into there and set up an automatic payment, right, going into your wealth account. And at some point, you'll take that money and you'll invest it, yeah? Now, what I want you to do, though, is go up. And go, well, what if it went up $200? Would you move? And if it's a yes, then you come down $20. Would you move if it was $180? And you would keep coming back down until you found that point that you would either sell or you would move. Yeah. Now, I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, guys, but in Australia, in reality, it takes about $2,000 to move places. Yeah. More than that to sell. So, generally anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. So that, and you think about it, that's $60 a week. So if you think that's like, your rent has to go up by $60 a week for it to be actually viable to move in the first place. So most people can find 20, 30, 40, $50 a week, right? More likely, if we really were honest with ourselves, you would have maybe $100 a week that you could find, right? And if you really are committed to actually changing the way things are done, you will be able to find that sweet spot. We actually, one of our members in New Zealand, a single mum of 5 kids, found $258. Like, it was very, very precise as to what she could find. 280 something bucks. In her budget, right? So she automatically moved that into a wealth account and started to change the way that she does things. Yeah. So that's just something to consider, guys. It's a little ninja trick. You have to basically blame the bank, right? Or blame the landlord. Those greedy banks, those greedy landlords, they've taken my money. But in reality, you've got to trick your mind and make sure that you're the greedy landlord and the greedy bank, right? Profiting off yourself. So I think that's a good spot to leave this episode, guys. I really... I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying putting these podcasts and video channels together. But look, if you have other things that you're thinking about, you're comfortable with your current lifestyle, you don't need to take financial risks. This is all about helping you take out the financial risks, right? A lot of people don't know this, but just having money sitting in the current system, having money sitting in a bank account actually has more risks than you know. Yeah, most Western countries have what they call the bail-in laws. Yeah, and the bail-in laws mean that the banks can steal your money legally take your money to bail themselves out. Yeah, I don't know if that's cricket, to be honest. So if you think that your money's safe in the bank, that's not necessarily the case anyway. So anyway, let's leave it there. I'm looking forward to the next episode, guys. Those of you that are employees, right? If you are seeing your business owners, your employers doing this, maybe have a chat to them. Maybe recommend our Modern Day Investor podcast. That might be able to help them out. Might even be able to make your job a lot safer. The next one we're going to be talking about, guys, is the biggest mistake employees make. Yeah, there's probably a couple up there which I'll probably chat about as well. But the biggest mistake employees make. And if you're an employer, like I said, I highly recommend you tune into this one as well, because we really want to make our employees as productive as possible. And if we can take away some of the stress that they have, the better. Yeah, they will become better employees. They won't want to go anywhere, no matter how much they're getting headhunted, so on and so on, right? Because one thing we've learned over time, guys, it's not always about the pay rise. It's not always about the pay rise. Yeah, don't get me wrong, the money part helps, but if you can create an environment that keeps them happy, they're not going to go anywhere. Yeah, and that's something that's really important. And happy employees are productive employees. And if you're an employee, guys, I think you'd agree with me, right? You'll be keen to be happier. How do we make that happier? So I'm going to talk about that in the next episode. See you then. Bye. None of this is advice, not even general advice. This is for entertainment purposes and education only. If you'd like to seek specific advice to your personal circumstances, we urge you to speak to a licensed financial professional.